6 Remarkable and little-known facts about J. Robert Oppenheimer. Julius Robert Oppenheimer, renowned as the physicist behind the creation of the first atomic bomb, had an early passion for rocks, and surprisingly, he possessed a poetic soul as well. At the helm of the laboratory responsible for constructing and successfully testing the inaugural atomic bomb, Julius Robert Oppenheimer emerged as a pivotal figure. However, as humanity ventured into the realm of even more perilous weaponry, he transformed into a vocal adversary of the nuclear arms race, leading to his trial by the very government he had once served. Unravel the enigmatic persona of this physicist, central to Christopher Nolan's latest film, through these 10 indispensable facts. 1. At the tender age of 12, J. Robert Oppenheimer received a remarkable invitation to deliver a lecture on geology. While pursuing his undergraduate studies at Harvard, Oppenheimer chose chemistry as his major. Nevertheless, his true scientific passion lay in rocks and minerals. Born on April 22, 1902, in New York City, he spent his boyhood collecting rock samples from Manhattan and the Hudson River Palisades. Later on, Oppenheimer established himself as a prominent physicist. At the mere age of 12, he already exhibited remarkable enthusiasm for geology, utilizing the family typewriter to correspond with prominent geologists about his studies on the rock formations in Central Park. Unaware of his youth, one of these geologists nominated young Robert for membership in the esteemed New York Mineralogical Club. Astonishingly, he soon received an invitation to deliver a lecture before the club, revealed biographers Kai Bird and Martin J. Sherwin in their book, American Prometheus. The Triumph and Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer. Encouraged by his parents, the young Oppenheimer fearlessly took the stage and received a well-deserved round of applause for his efforts, although he had to stand on a box to see over the podium. 2. He conducted research on cosmic rays. According to NASA, cosmic rays are a perplexing type of radiation comprising electrically charged, subatomic particles that collide with our atmosphere, breaking up and eventually descending to Earth in smaller fragments. Oppenheimer, one could argue, was an early enthusiast of these phenomena. Back in 1931, he teamed up with a student named Frank Carlson to co-author the first of numerous scientific papers delving into the physics of cosmic rays. A relatively fresh discovery made less than 20 years earlier in 1912. 3. Oppenheimer played a pivotal role in assisting his family members to escape Nazi Germany. Coming from a German Jewish family, though they were not particularly observant, Oppenheimer took significant action during the tumultuous times. In 1937, he generously sponsored his aunt Hedwig, her son Alfred, and Alfred's family with his own funds, helping them escape their home and come to the United States when Hitler's influence became dominant in Germany. 4. He led the development of the first atomic weapons at Los Alamos. At only 38 years old in 1943, the physicist was chosen by General Leslie R. Groves to lead the Los Alamos National Laboratory, LANL, in New Mexico. On the surface, he seemed an unlikely candidate due to his eccentricities, relative lack of administrative experience, absence of a Nobel Prize, and familial connections suspected of communist sympathies, as pointed out by the National Park Service website. However, Oppenheimer quickly demonstrated his capabilities. Under his guidance, the Los Alamos team embarked on the top-secret Manhattan Project, aiming to develop the first nuclear weapons. Oppenheimer skillfully managed various aspects, including finances and accommodations at LANL, effectively mediating disputes between scientists and military personnel involved in the project. It was during this time that he earned the title, Father of the Atomic Bomb. 5. He wrote poetry. While Oppenheimer was reserved about sharing his work, privately admitting that it wasn't meant for public consumption, he harbored a genuine passion for verse and creative writing. Surprisingly, one of his poems, a contemplative piece called Crossing, found its way into an edition of the Harvard literary magazine, Hound and Horn. Here's how it goes. It was evening when we came to the river with a low moon over the desert that we had lost in the mountains, forgotten, what with the cold and the sweating and the ranges barring the sky. And when we found it again, in the dry hills down by the river, half withered, we had the hot winds against us. There were 2 palms by the landing. The yuccas were flowering. There was a light on the far shore, and tamarisks. We waited a long time, in silence. Then we heard the oars creaking and afterwards, I remember, the boatman called to us. We did not look back at the mountains. 6. Oppenheimer opposed the hydrogen bomb after World War II. In 1949, 4 years after the Trinity test, the Soviet Union conducted a successful nuclear bomb test, posing a significant threat to the Cold War power balance. In response, President Harry S. Truman authorized the development of a new and more devastating weapon, the hydrogen bomb, to keep up with the arms race. Oppenheimer strongly opposed this decision, being part of the General Advisory Committee, GAC, to the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission since 1946. He led discussions about the ethical and practical aspects of H-bomb research. The GAC concluded that the hydrogen bomb should not be built, deeming it a weapon of genocide with no military necessity, as the existing atomic bombs were sufficient as a deterrent.